These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
He is the most passionate Vikings fan we know, and a rare day off for our guy, the sports dad.
I don't even know what he's doing. Like that's how rare this is. Very
it's
incognito.
Like whenever
about
Judd asks for a day off, it's like, oh,
are you okay?
Like, yeah, are you? Is everything cool? But sometimes the sports dad also needs to collect himself. But we're gonna get to our guy Randy Vikes 69 here in a moment. Randy in Cottage Grove, who through his in-depth film study over the years has correctly nailed several Vikings draft picks. He brings you the dud and stud stables every single week. Let's bring him in here, Randy in Cottage Grove, Dex.
Randy,
really tough going here for the Vikings lately, Randy. How are you holding up?
It's we're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, are we?
No, in fact, spoiler alert for the State of the Vikings Purple Daily episode, they still have a 0.3% chance to make the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay. Well, it's as they say, just get in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Just get in. So that'd be, sounds like we're gonna get a look at Brosner, which could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and people want to talk about how unlikely it is that an undrafted quarterback would become a stud. I don't care to focus on all the failures. I care to focus on the Kurt Warners, the Tony Romos, the Warren Moons of the undrafted free agent quarterback list. That's where my mind is at when thinking about Max Brosmer, Randy.
Well, it's a good opportunity. As McCartney, as they say, got his bell rung, apparently, and that happens. Happens in softball, happens in football, it can happen in bowling. But what I would say is take a second now, kid, and go ahead and load up at Thanksgiving. Get the yams, the potatoes, the stuffing, stuff it all inside of a roll or roll it up in a tortilla.
I never done that.
Just go. Got to get a lot. He's got to put weight on anyway. Even if he's going to figure out his footwork someday, which I can't believe it's not figured out. But he's got to put some weight on. Like you can't be knocked around like a piñata back there. And it's time for him to get serious. I think he needs to come back next year, but 20, 30 pounds heavier.
Well, two things here. Number one, you've hit on one of the most underrated food items of the holiday season, the Thanksgiving leftover burrito, it sounds like you're referring to, which I co-sign. And also, what's one way people found the tape of the concussion play? One way to prevent defensive players from lifting you up and slamming your head to the ground is to just be too heavy for them to pick you up.
There you go.
So I don't hate this.
Just be a big guy, just a touch bigger. Not saying he's got to be Roethlisberger, but just be hard to bring down. We heard a lot about his feet. I wish he did have happy feet. He should get out of there more. Last week we played Caleb's William and from the Bears, and he every time we pocket collapsed, he seemed like he was spinning out of there and doing stuff, and JJ's just standing around like Kirko. So he's got a lot to figure out. I when I go through my list of things on Thursday that I'm thankful for, which my probation guy said is a good exercise to do what they call gratitude. I'm not going to put him on the list, and he's not on the list.
Wow. Do you have to run that list by your probation officer? Or how does that work?
This was that workplace aggression incident that I had, and it's almost behind me. That was with the Packer fan and the coffee cup thing, and it's fine now. I don't work there anymore, but if I saw that guy, I'd probably just walk the other way.
Probably, or you would for sure have learned your lesson.
Depends on who's squawking and who's where, where we are.
Okay.
But I didn't have a lot I could say on Sunday. Didn't have a lot I could say.
Well, it was, man, I think most people were speechless. Hell, the announcers were speechless in the set. Greg Olson's like, I don't know what we're watching right now. Joe Davis said, this is the worst football I've ever seen.
There's going to be today a dud and a super dud and a super duper dud, because that's the kind of game it was.
Oh wow, we're back to we're back to the categories of duds
That
here. All
was
right,
supposed
well,
to be for studs this year. It's not. It's
Hasn't
not
been too many.
happening. So
no. Yeah, we've only had a small handful of stud stables. So once again, we'll do a dud stable here. This is Randy in Cottage Grove, Randy Vikes 69 on Twitter, the Week 12 Vikings dud stable. Go ahead.
well, this is not enjoyable to do these. I do it as what they call a public service. Quasi KOC. If you're listening, get your pens out. Start to write down what you might want to focus on here, because it's going to be real simple. Real simple. We'll start out with our dud, and that's a guy who didn't look the part, as they say. Didn't seem once again ready for prime time. He did. I don't care how geeked up he is, how much so much of the John Randall paint he puts on his face. When it came time to it, the main thing he was putting on was pee in his pants, and that's JJ McCartney. JJ, you went into Lambeau Field. That place has a lot of history. We've won a lot of games there. A lot of games there. We beat their ass a lot of times there. And Randy Moss was once a rookie who went in there and did some damage. You couldn't do it. So this week, JJ McCartney, you're a dud.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, Randy Moss didn't have to, like read defenses, or not to make excuses. There was no Michael Parsons bearing down
good
on Randy.
footwork. He had good footwork. Throw it up to Moss. Number 2, this is the super dud. And this is a guy who the whole game had us scratching our heads, had us wondering why we spent such a high draft pick on this guy. And meanwhile, Shutter Sanders is over there making plays with his legs, making something out of nothing. Was a 4th round pick, 5th round pick. This guy was taken in the 1st round, and he didn't live up to the part, and so that makes him a super dud this week, and that's JJ McCartney.
Oh.
JJ, you're a super dud.
Oh, okay.
This feels unprecedented.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've
Are
ever
you
had
concussed?
someone show up twice
And then
in the
finally, we at the top of the heap here, we got what we call our super duper dud, and that's someone who bears a lot of responsibility for the way this whole thing is gone. He came in and they gave him what they call a car that was ready to go, gassed up, new tires, got a lot of extra parts in the off season, spent a lot of money, he was ready to go. Just give him the keys. He's got his driver's license. Let him drive the car. Well, he drove the car into a dumpster filled with manure, and now it's all over him. So that's what he did, and now he's gonna take a little break. He's gonna have to watch Brosner, and Brosner makes some plays, and those concussions can linger. Maybe it's gonna linger for 5-6 weeks here, and he'll have to think about it. Think about if he wants to be a quarterback in the NFL, because right now he's not a quarterback. JJ McCartney is a super duper dud.
Wow.
Oh,
And there he goes.
I was going to ask him, as I know he's a veteran softball player. I retired from softball after my only concussion I've ever received. I wanted to ask him about, the lingering effects of concussions, and he just named JJ McCartney,
McCartney, put some respect on his name.
3 different times in his dud stable. So interesting strategy.
Yeah, I think he's been doing stud and dud stables for several years on the show here. I don't remember a time. Let me back up a step. It's always a treat when you get he's ramped up when he gives you the levels instead of just the duds. He gives you the super dud, super duper dud. But then for all 3 of those to be the same guy, I forgot what was that the company softball team?
Yeah, it was a company softball team. Yeah, it was the COVID. It was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. I was playing like deep center field. Only I could get a concussion playing slow pitch softball. But I was playing deep center field and shallow pop fly, and I knew our second baseman was going to get it. And I was running, and I dove, and when I say like my head stopped my fall, like I basically like scorpioned into the ground full speed with my head stopping, and I caught the ball, but when I got up, everything. Like, I kept seeing the backstop and then the plate, and it was just a spin cycle for, like, I would say a good 5 to 10 seconds. I didn't know which way was which, and didn't feel good. And then went up to hit the next inning, and when I swung and I put the ball in play, I took 3 steps and immediately ran into the dugout. Didn't even run to first because I was like, oh nope, I can't run. I was like, I feel horrible. I can't run. And then, like, I tried to sleep that night, and because it was like the heart of COVID, like, I probably could have went in, but I did like a virtual well visit, like I did, like the televisit with the doctor, and they were like, yeah, you probably have a mild concussion, but like due to the COVID and everyone in here, like I wouldn't get you in here for an MRI. And I was like, oh, okay, so I have a mild concussion.
So we think like you may have a brain injury, but we're not like super enthused about digging deeper on it.
Yep, pretty much. Thankful. My sister is a PA, so I was texting her throughout the night. It's like, if you start vomiting or if like things get worse, then you need to go in. And I was like, okay. And I don't think I slept that night. I was so nervous and also like concussed.
How many days did it take for I have a follow up on this, but how many days did it take until you felt like you didn't have a concussion anymore?
I would, if I remember right, just after a couple, I feel like it didn't last terribly wrong, but those like 12 to 24 hours were a weird feeling, man. And luckily, like I said, mine, I think mine was mild, but I can't imagine people that have legitimately had multiple ones or obviously significantly bigger ones. It's scary. Like, as Judd always says, brain and back injuries. I don't mess with brain and back injuries at all.
I feel like I do remember this because this was you were like pretty new to the Score North staff, or maybe no, you were full time because it was after it was like pandemic. But I can't remember if I shared this 5 years ago or not. But I think we need to normalize getting concussions in embarrassing ways.
Oh yeah.
I also have an embarrassing concussion. The only concussion documented. Maybe I've had others, just like playing sports as a kid, but this is probably, I don't know, 12 years ago, and the condo I lived in at the time had like whoever lived there beforehand had like ripped up the carpet, and so it was concrete, and there was some like glossy finish on the concrete. It looked really cool, but it was kind of like a slick, little bit of a slippery surface. It's like if you were in socks, you could run and slide all across the floor, kind of a thing. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but something happened with the like water hose that plugged into the refrigerator, and there was like they had issues up and down that row of condos, like up and down the unit above and below me, with little air pockets or something, and it dislodged the water hose from the back of the refrigerator or freezer or whatever. And there was a flood happening in my kitchen kind of dining room space. And so I heard this noise. It was like late at night and I was sleeping. I heard this noise. Like, that doesn't sound right. I walk out and there's just standing water all over the place in my condo. And so it's wet. I think I had like wet socks on. I can't remember. I was barefoot. But my first thought was, oh my God, this is terrible. I go and grab a pile of towels from the laundry. And I'm just like throwing towels down and trying to soak up as much water as possible. And I unplugged the refrigerator, just trying to figure out what the hell is happening at like 1 a.m. And so now I've got a bunch of wet towels. So I go to scoop up the wet towels and just bring them into like the bathtub on this slick concrete surface. So here I am kind of jogging. I've got wet towels. I'm hugging the wet towels in front of me, which is, by the way, they're dripping now in front of me, and I'm stepping on the water that's dripping from these towels. And it was like a slow motion cartoon, man. I took like 3 steps. My heel hits the floor, slides out, and my legs go straight up in the air. I'm holding these towels. I'm horizontal in the air, and I land on my upper back and like my head. I'm lucky I didn't crack my head open alone in this condo at the time. And I'm laying on the ground, and I'm literally seeing like the flashes of stars that people say when, like in the cartoons. And and I'm laying there just kind of assessing, trying to figure out, am I bleeding? Am I okay? Okay, I'm conscious, but I feel weird. And I wound up just kind of going to sleep, which I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Correct. Yep.
So but I did because I didn't know. And I go to work the next morning. We were doing the Royce and Mackey show, and our producer, Corey Roofs, at the time. So we're sitting in the prep room, and I think it was just me and Corey in there at the time. And I remember, like, he was talking to me and asking me questions, and it felt like I was watching myself listen to him ask me. It almost was like I was an observer of myself. And so he would ask something or say something, and I was always like a couple beats slow to process it and respond. And apparently my pupils were big, like dilated. So 2 or 3 people, including him, were like, "Dude, what happened?" Like, okay. I don't know if they thought I was like on drugs or something. And I said, "I think I might have a concussion, and it's a really embarrassing story."
Yeah,
so I did the same thing you did. I went to urgent care, and they shined a couple lights in my eyes, and they did the same. They were like, "We could do an MRI, but like, I don't know. We're pretty sure you have a concussion. Just go home, rest, don't stare at screens, and see how you feel in a couple days." Like,
yep.
Okay. So I did, and I'm alive to this day. But we need to normalize getting embarrassing concussions.
I love this. Yeah, it's and like I've snowboarded for like the last 12 years. I've like hurt my wrist and my ass numerous. Like when you snowboard, you fall on your ass, and as someone with literally no ass, it's the worst, maybe the worst activity I could do. And I've had some like scrape ups here and there, but I have not had a significant injury like that before, and it was slow pitch softball of all things. So yes, I love this. Let's normalize this.
How did Phil and Dex get hurt? How did they get concussed? Slow pitch softball and carrying wet towels into a bathroom. Yeah. All right, can you do me a favor? Because I have I had to deconstruct my studio setup to bring it into the old AM studio. And the one thing I forgot to do before we hit record was plug in this laptop, which is telling me it's on 7% battery life.
Oh, God.
Could you tell our friends about Underdog while I plug in this laptop?
Absolutely. Okay. Go download the Underdog app. In fact, yesterday on the Underdog app, I had a gimme pick. And that happened because I had Baker Mayfield in a pick'em on Sunday Night Football. He gets injured. Underdog comes to the rescue, and they say, "Hey, you got injured in the first half, so we're going to give you a gimme pick, and we'll also refund your option there." So that's the nice, fun part about Underdog. You know, injuries can happen, and luckily it happened in the first half, so I was able to get a gimme pick there. And then, of course, you know, Bryce Young gets like 20 yards just short of his passing yards, higher or lower. But that's the sweat. That's the fun at Underdog. Sign up with promo code SCORE, SKOR, and keep sending me the pick'ems too. I like seeing our audience win. I'm not going to win a lot of money, but at the same time, I love seeing our audience win money. So go download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code SCORE.
All right, I think we're plugged in here. So let's talk about Green Mill Pizza for a moment. Pep's Green Mill Pizza. This could be a perfect little like Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Your Friendsgiving gathering, or maybe an alternate to all the traditional Thanksgiving dressings and turkey on the table. Green Mill restaurant style pizza, that tavern style pizza, that iconic brand, now available in your own kitchen via the grocery store freezer section. They also have soft breadsticks and sauces. You can learn more at greenmillfoods.com. All right, well, statement number one. Okay. The Timberwolves continue to soil themselves in, and it wasn't like a thing in the first 10 games against bad teams, but against Phoenix the other night, we talked about that on Flagrant Howls. They had an 8-point lead with 49 seconds left, and they piss it all away. Just this can't hit free throws, dumb inbounds passes. And then again last night, you're playing the Kings. It's like the 10th time they played the Kings this season, but they're up 12 points in the fourth quarter, and they just forget how to play basketball. They're unable to run offense. They're sloppy with the ball. Julius Randle, well, then you had Jalen Clark came in for a defense possession and just absolutely tackles a Kings player before the ball is inbounded. So that's a free throw. Takes a 1-point game to a 2-point game. Now you foul. Now you're down 4 instead of 3. So that basically Jalen Clark's mistake there makes it a 2-possession game from a 1-possession game. Julius Randle with a throwaway on an inbounds pass. And I don't know, like I hate being the fire the coach guy, but this has been a problem under Chris Finch going back even the 4 years of success in Western Conference Finals. it seems like more often than not, this team loses all semblance of how to play winning basketball when it's a close game under 5 minutes. They blow leads. And so, like, for anyone that stayed up late to watch that close to midnight, the lead dwindling away, and then they go to overtime, just a clown show. And some of it's on, okay, Finch, dude, like, you gotta find some solutions for these guys. But also the players, again, we talked about this on Flagrant House. It just feels like a really low basketball IQ bunch outside of like Mike Conley and maybe one or two other guys. Anthony Edwards, dude, all right, you want to be the best player in the world. You can't let your team completely fall apart in every single clutch time moment. But at the same time, he's out there scoring 40 points on 25 shots. And whenever he tries to throw a pass to his starting center, the guy fumbles it with his ping pong paddle hands, and Julius Randle has gone completely bad Julius late in a couple of these games. So I don't know. My statement is I'm annoyed again by the Timberwolves after another clutch time debacle last night.
In consecutive games here against Phoenix and Sacramento last night, in the Phoenix game, the Wolves had a 98.9% chance to win the game, according to ESPN Analytics, with 51 seconds to go. They were up 8 with 51 seconds to go, lost that game. In the Kings game, with 3 minutes to go, Timberwolves up by 10 points. They had a 97.7% chance to win a game. It's always very easy, and I love going on the ESPN Analytics win probability when epic collapses happen. It's very low-hanging fruit to grab the screenshot and say, "Oh my God, what happened?" And certainly you are gonna stumble over yourself. But in back-to-back games, it's one thing over the 82-game season. In back-to-back games like that's really bad. And the Kings, who I think at one point, I think I saw the stat, they were they were getting blown out significantly. They lost 137-96 to the Grizzlies last week. They lost by 20 plus to the Thunder. They were getting blown out, and the Wolves have made a killing against these bad teams. And you can't lose games like this and have the championship aspiration that the Wolves have.
Well, and it's funny, back to the 97% chances to win.
Yeah. Yep.
My question on that is that I think where they get that data from is of all NBA games over whatever the sample size is, over history or over the last 10 years. Well, it's telling me that this is not plugged in again. We might go dark here.
I'll go solo. I'll just give I'll do solo twin show just like I do if you just disappear.
You can go on a rant here in a second.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have to plug this in. But I wonder if that takes into context, the Timberwolves specifically in those situations feel like they have I'm not saying that they're destined to lose every time, but there's no way that the Timberwolves the last few years have a 98% chance to win in that situation. That's how it feels to me. I think they're taking all of the NBA teams in that situation.
Yeah, I can see that. I went back and looked at this too. I think I brought it up on Flagrant House last week. It was the 2013-14 Wolves team with Rick Adelman. So they went 40-42. They finished just under 500.
I can still hear you, by the way. I'm going to try to plug this in again.
But their expected wins-loss was 48-34. So historically, this franchise has a hilarious tendency to always play with its food. I think it does come down at points to coaching. I just saw on Reddit too, on the Timberwolves Reddit page. This is hilarious. It's like you're doing the Austin Powers elevator thing. You're going up and down with the canoe.
It's like the outlet.
Should they explore the whole Mike Malone thing? Which, man, the Wolves Nuggets rivalry got great there, and it would just, I don't know. I don't know if it's Mike Malone. I don't know if Mike Malone is the answer. But a team that's went to back-to-back conference finals, is that their peak with Chris Finch? That's a pretty good place to be, especially for the Timberwolves. But if that's not the end goal, I don't know if you have to make a change there or not.
Yeah, I think the Mike Malone conversation is going to hover like a cloud until either the Wolves fix some of these issues, win a championship, or Mike Malone gets another job. Because at the end of the day, Mike Malone, and
oh no, there goes Mackey. There goes Mackey. Mackey's battery on his laptop is crap in the bed. That's pretty funny. No Judd. Phil's laptop's on fire. Our pets' heads are falling off here. at Score North. I think my son finally woke up from his long slumber. This is what we do. In the meantime, I'm going to give you a solo statement here on Mackey and Judd. Hit the like button and the subscribe button here as we sort out the technical difficulties. So yesterday, and I'll reiterate this to Phil once he hops back in the room, if he hops back in the room. So there's been a lot of chatter, obviously, about Mac Jones and the 49ers. Just got a text from Mackey who says, "Land the plane. We can do his statement on a different show." So Mac Jones is obviously with the Niners, and there's been a lot of trade chatter, or even like, do the Niners end up keeping him? Here's just a little food for thought, and I don't think it should surprise anyone because I love this guy. Instead of Mac Jones, should the Vikings trade for Brock Purdy? The contract is a little weird here. He's got guaranteed money left. You know, you could do the trade, the post June 1st trade designation does make it a little easier, but there is like, let's see here, $56 million or so still left in guaranteed money. So it's not a easily movable contract, but chew on that for a little bit. Brock Purdy as a Minnesota Viking, and then they just like build around Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan is not afraid to move on from quarterbacks you think are established. He did it with Jimmy Garoppolo, who brought him to a Super Bowl. They drafted Trey Lance. They punted on that. And then Brock Purdy's been saving their bacon lately, but also dealing with a turf toe injury. Mac Jones looks great. Think about it. Let me know. Call me an idiot. That's totally fine. Hit the like button and subscribe button here for statements on Mackey and Judd. Fill in the ether. Judd, I don't know where he is. Purple Daily coming up, though. We have a Thor's Day on a Tuesday today, too, so be on the lookout for that.